The so-called mothers of the movement who lost children to gun and police violence were given a voice at the DNC last night. Did you see this?
She knows that when a young black life is cut short, it's not just a loss. It's a personal loss. It's a national loss.
We're going to keep building a future where police officers and communities of color work together in mutual respect to keep children like Jordan safe.
She has a plan to divide that so often exists between law enforcement and the communities that they serve.
Hillary Clinton isn't afraid to say that Black Lives Matter.
But no relatives of slain police officers were on the speaker's list. So what message does that send? Here to weigh in on this is Trump delegate, chairman of the 2020 Club, Mr. Ashley Bell. Ashley, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Having them speak is not sitting well with some groups. The Fraternal Order of Police saying that it's giving a voice to people who attack officers, not giving a voice to the slain police officers. What are your thoughts?
You know, I think that this was the moment that Black Lives Matter as a movement completely became an operation of the Democratic Party. That slogan now is too small to meet the enormity of the challenges we have as a country right now. Black Lives Matter, unfortunately, is a Twitter hashtag. And being a Twitter hashtag, you know, I guess you only got 140 characters, but they needed one more word. If they said Black Lives Matter 2, T-O-O, then I think everybody would be okay with it.
Sure.
But when you leave off that last part, this is where we are. And I think last night showed that this movement no longer has a place in mainstream. It has a place in the liberal left.
Right. Now, the police chief of Pittsburgh did speak last night.
Yes.
Cam McClearly. So he did have a chance to speak. McClay, I should say. What were your thoughts about that?
You know, it's always good to have officers' perspectives. But it's really disheartening when you see this sort of chance and you understand that black officers also lost their lives in many of these incidents, in Dallas as well. So
Baton Rouge.
In Baton Rouge as well. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to continue the discussion, but I think we have to look at Black Lives Matter movement for what it is. Now Hillary Clinton is using it to try to defeat Donald Trump. That's not the purpose of Black Lives Matter. It's supposed to be about criminal justice reform and community policing, but now it's political.
So you say you would be okay if they said Black Lives Matter also, or two, to be inclusive.
Well, my point is,
that way everybody's together.
And my point is, that is what they're trying to say, but I think in 140 characters, they left off the last part. So now we're stuck with a slogan that some people look at and think is controversial. Let me tell you this. If this was 1956, would Martin Luther King use this same slogan? Could he build a coalition that would have passed the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act off of something that just said Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, Ashley, I listened to all of the speeches, and the women, my heart goes out to all of them.
It does.
Could you imagine losing a child?
Absolutely.
But would it be better if they had the slain officers' relatives on stage with them? They all had great messages saying we need to work together as communities with the police officers. But where were the voices of the relatives of the slain police officers? If they had been on stage with those ladies, it might have had a different message.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the families of those officers didn't want those lives politicized that way.
Maybe not.
So I think that this was so political and so purposeful that I think that those officers' families, I could understand why they wouldn't want to be on stage at a political rally.
I think a lot of Black Lives Matter wouldn't want that comparison. They don't want to be seen up there with the families of officers that have been slain.
Agreed.
But Ashley Bell, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.